any criticism that Prince Andrew gets as a result of his own activities.
Buckingham Palace insiders say the Duke of York should do the decent thing and stay out of sight over Christmas. Will that work? Let's talk to the Times' royal editor, Kate Mancy. Morning, Kate.
Morning, Stig.
Does he have a track record of doing the decent thing, Prince Andrew?
Well, these are palace insiders who are saying, with all the spotlight on him at the moment because of his connections to this alleged spy, they're saying that he should do the decent thing and stay away from public view. So this week we're going to see a big Christmas lunch at Buckingham Palace. This is when all the wider family get together, people who can't make it to the Sandringham Christmas Day event. So there's about 70 guests, and we always see them coming in by car. They're all photographed on the way in, on the way out. Now, Andrew, some palace insiders are saying that he should not be seen in public. If he wants to go to these events, maybe there's a side door that he can sneak into. But on the other hand, they're saying that he remains a part of the family. It's interesting phrasing that he's bound by blood as a brother to the king, I've been told. And that's not going to change. But should he be front and centre with the royal family on these big occasions now that he's not a working royal, and with all the criticism and controversy surrounding him at the moment? Most people in the palace think that he should do the decent thing, stay away, not put the onus on the king to make a decision to ban him, not put the king in that impossible situation where he looks like the meanie, but that Andrew should, gracefully bow out for a while.
Is this all a bit passag here, that instead of dealing with the problem of their family member, they actually end up talking almost to people like you, Kate? So the front of the Times has the awkward conversation for them, that actually they should, either Prince Andrew is an embarrassment to the royal family and they shouldn't have him, and they should just say, you're not coming in, you're not there, you're not there, you're not there. Or they should just grit their teeth and bear it. They're trying to have it both ways here, and that's tricky, isn't it?
That's right. I mean, the royal family operates in a very unique way, which wouldn't be recognisable perhaps to most families in Britain. When it comes to communicating one-on-one, things are done via letter, through courtiers and that sort of thing, from private secretary to private secretary. I think it's difficult for the king because he doesn't like confrontation. Although has already made some difficult decisions when it comes to Andrew. He's told him that he's never coming back. There's no chance he's ever going to have a reprisal of that royal role that was taken off him 5 years ago. He doesn't have any public money. In September, the king cut off any kind of private money that he was giving him. He was giving him a general allowance. That's gone. The king feels now there's not really any more sanctions that he can deliver against Andrew. So this will be the last thing really, but he would rather it just all went away. Let's remember the king's still having weekly cancer treatment. So he's got that all going on as well, and trying to, do the day job of being the monarch. So I think, is it passag? Probably. But I think the onus is on Andrew now to step up, or step back rather.
Yeah, step or step aside, or step away and step somewhere if possible. Kate, can we be got in touch with us about this? Prince Andrew is kind of totemically feckless and useless as an individual. How good a spy is this H6 allegedly by getting close to Prince Andrew? People can't quite understand why. Has Prince Andrew done anything wrong? Is Prince Andrew a particularly useful conduit into the British deep state, actually?
Well, my colleague David Brown's been really good on this in the Times, talking about the network that these spies operate. And sometimes it's just about having that connection so that they can deploy it if necessary. What I thought was really interesting is this has all obviously come out as part of a court case by the businessman who's so far only known as H6, who's an alleged spy who was banned from Britain on the grounds of national security. And all the information about Andrew came out, of course, when he tried to appeal that ban unsuccessfully. The court decided that, yes, he was, a person who shouldn't be entering the UK, and they've done their due diligence on that. But it wasn't just the fact that he was photographed with Prince Andrew. There was a connection there. It was those letters from Dominic Hampshire, who's a senior advisor to Prince Andrew, whose letter was found on the alleged spy's mobile phone device, which said, you will sit at the very top of the tree. And there was an inference of some underhand business, because Hampshire wrote, under your guidance, we found a way to get the relevant people unnoticed in and out of the house in Windsor, which suggests something else was going on. And I think there's still so many questions that need to be answered about what exactly that connection was with Andrew and the alleged spy, and what if the government's confident this is somebody that shouldn't be allowed in the UK, perhaps we need to know a bit more about what they were doing while they were in the UK.
It's such a good point, Kate, and there's definitely some more to come out of this story. It feels very much like that. I know you'll bring that to us here on Times Radio. Thanks so much for joining us. That's Kate Mansley, the Royal Editor. You can also hear her, of course, on the podcast The Royals with Roya and Kate. Magnificent podcast on the royal family. And the Roya in question is actually Roya Nika, who's presenting The Times at 1 all this week here on Times Radio this afternoon.
So will the identity of H6 be revealed in Parliament today? Let's talk about that with Labour peer and a former member of Parliament's Intelligence and Security Committee, George Foulkes, Lord Foulkes. And now, of course, good morning to you.
Good morning, Esma.
We heard there the argument for naming this person, H6. I just want to read to you what Jim McMahon, the Minister for Local Government, said to us earlier. He didn't really want to come out on either side, but he did say whether or not that requires someone being named in Parliament under parliamentary privilege, I think is a separate matter. From a personal point of view, it's not something I'd be queuing up to do today in the context of the person being known to the authorities and the matter being dealt with. So why do you think this is important? Why do you think it's important that H6, that their identity is revealed?
I'm not sure it is the most important thing. And I think if he is to be named, it would be better for it to be done in the House of Commons rather than the House of Lords. And I understand there are some members of Parliament, including Ian Duncan Smith, who may be prepared to do so. But what I think is more important is what security breaches there have been because of the activities of H6 and Prince Andrew. And that's why I've tabled an urgent question for the House of Lords today, asking what action they propose to take about any security breaches that there may have been because of contacts between H6 and members of the government, civil servants, or the agencies, the intelligence agencies. And I've also written to the chair of the Intelligence and Security Committee, of which I used to be a member, asking them if they will consider conducting an inquiry, because it's a matter of intelligence and security. And I think they are the appropriate body to deal with it.
Right. Do you suspect this is not being taken seriously enough?
I think it's being taken seriously, but I don't think it's given a great enough priority. I think more priority needs to be given to it. It's just suddenly emerged because of the court case. And I don't think people have been fully aware of it. And I think they're just like me, we're catching up on it now and thinking about what best should be done. But Prince Andrew was a trade envoy for a very long period and arranged for people, including apparently H6, to meet with members of the royal family, with ministers, including, I understand, prime ministers, David Cameron and Theresa May, and a number of other people. So he may have picked up some very important information in relation to security, and we need to know that.
In terms of naming H6, you say that it would be better if it was done in the House of Commons by, someone like Ian Duncan Smith or whoever. Can you explain why? Because a lot of our listeners, some of them are saying, we want to hear this, and others are saying, well, why? I don't care. It doesn't affect me in any way. Can you explain why it might?
Yes, I understand who the person is. I'm aware of the name if the information I have is correct. And from the name, you can then see the kind of body that he works in and is the kind of contacts that he may have. Right. And so it does give you a better picture of the kind of person it is and the kind of contacts that they have beyond Prince Andrew.
I see. Okay. You've said that Prince Andrew should lose the Order of the Garter. So I think I'm right in saying that's usually for high treason. Why do you think that?
Well, recently, Lord Ranger, a member of the House of Lords, lost his CBE for bullying and harassment. And this was the forfeiture committee that decided it. And if he lost it for that, then I think if it is proven that Prince Andrew has been involved in some activities which resulted in a breach of national security, it would really be inappropriate for him to have the highest order of chivalry.
What about how would you characterize, from what you know about what's gone on here, how would you characterize Prince Andrew's kind of involvement, behavior, demeanor? Is he just naive? Is he clumsy? What's the problem here?
One of the worries is that he may have been in need of financial help because of his previous sources drying up and because of the huge amount of expenditure. And if someone is in financial difficulties, then I'm afraid they do pose a target or become a target for this kind of activity. And that is a worry.
Just finally, Lord Foulkes, there's a lot of people who say, oh, everyone's just got it in for Prince Andrew right now. And this is just this is the latest step on the witch hunt. What would you say to them?
I think that anything that is, any criticism that Prince Andrew gets as a result of his own activities and not as a result of any prejudgment that is made by anyone. It's because of what he's done over the years.